Welcome to episode 5 of Malaise. Our first match is going to be Isabelle against Palutena. Alright, looks like we're going to be on Kalos Pokemon Stadium. Pretty standard stage, at least when the hazards are turned off. With the hazards, it's actually pretty fun, interactive, and dynamic. Isabelle's doing a great job of hitting Palutena with pretty much all of her slingshot pellets. Palutena is going to need to start fighting back if she has any hope of winning this. Isabelle almost healed back up to full. Currently she's only sitting at about 10%, so worries are pretty low at the moment. Since Palutena off stage almost catches the air dodge, unfortunately not able to fall fast enough. Now Isabelle is a character with a very high reaching recovery, so it does mean you have a really good off-stage presence. You can go super far and still make it back to the stage. Something to know, though, is that Isabelle's recovery doesn't have any hitboxes associated with it. So if you get too far, you can get your day ruined. Also, with Isabelle's recovery in particular, she rides up on 2 balloons and a little swing set thingy, which, you know, is adorable and everything. However, the balloons can be popped by the opponent. Great forward smash read from Isabelle, catching Palutena dropping through the platform. Normally a pretty safe maneuver. Palutena actually following up from the neutral air. Usually you can get a couple of those to land in a row, but Palutena seems to have just basically comboed it into a forward smash, and it got the kill. Normally not how you see people use the move. Palutena comboing Isabelle to center stage, unfortunately unable to continue the combo. Gonna get the old reversal. Playing around each other, both of these characters are just currently at least, getting mostly just stray hits every here and there. Alright, Isabelle just got a 2-hit combo, but for Isabelle as a character, that's kind of one of the longest combos she's gonna have. The whole bunch of stuff just happened right there, and nobody died for it. A little surprising. Isabelle tries to fishing pole recovery to the stage. However, Palutena sniped her out of it with her attack. It is a little bit dangerous because if Isabelle grabs you, she can throw you backwards, and getting thrown backwards off stage that close to the blast zone will kill a lot sooner than you'd think. Well, okay, it kills really soon. I guess if you thought that, you may have predicted it. Isabelle retreating to the entire other side of the stage to get enough room for one back air. Not even considering planting a Lloyd Rocket, which is, as it turns out, actually a pretty good move that just kind of gives you a zone where the opponents don't want to be. There are, of course, ways to attack the Lloyd Rocket when it's planted to basically neutralize the hitbox. And you can even bait it out as well. Doubly so since Isabelle can activate it manually, so you can even trick her into activating it early in an attempt to try to hit you. Palutena, well, I don't think she fast fell that up air, but she dragged Isabelle onto the platform, and Palutena went through. Normally, Palutena's up air is a really good killing move. Back throw from the side of the stage is going to kill Isabelle. Palutena has a very good backwards kill throw. Isabelle holding out the fishing rod for way too long. It can get people on the way back, so you are incentivized to actually reel the thing back every now and then. Palutena with an incredibly early air dodge. She does get punished for it. Up air is a kill move, but it's not a 50% kill move. Most moves are 50% kill moves. Although when you really think about it, what makes a move a kill move is kind of up for debate anyway. Chaining together some up airs, throwing a neutral air in there. Isabelle gets dropped out, and that actually was not good for Palutena, obviously. Isabelle, that time, instead of withdrawing the fishing rod too early, it always seems to be before the opponent gets there or way after the opponent gets there. The fishing rod acts like a grab, with the exception that the little bobber, which is attached to the hook, but for Smash Ultimate's purpose, the bobber is strictly there for visibility. The bobber will actually bounce off of an opponent's shield, so it's a grab, but it's a grab that can be shielded, which works out since it's basically a projectile grab anyway. Isabelle wins, and Palutena still has to fight. Up next, we have Hero against Dark Pit. Gonna be on Pokemon Stadium. There's multiple Pokemon Stadiums, but this is the one from Brawl. I guess that makes it Pokemon Stadium 2. Here, coming off to a strong start, getting a lot of grabs and then combos on Dark Pit. A little bit of a shame because Hero, whenever he hits an opponent with a sword, he regens some of his MP, which lets him use all of his really good moves. So, weirdly enough, normally at the beginning of a match, he'll throw out a couple of spells, even if it's slightly worthlessly, as in, like, it's probably not going to hit your opponent, like that. The Hero actually air dodged through it, so that's good for him. I guess he could have stayed in place and used his shield projectile stopping hitbox, but I don't know if the AI actually knows about that. That's really difficult to program in, especially because if you get it wrong, you get hit by the projectile anyway. Anyways, you normally start out with a couple of spells just so that you don't miss out on the MP from hitting your opponent. Also because you regen MP over time anyway. So basically it maximizes the amount of mana you get to actually use over the course of a match. The, of course, caveat here being that the assumption is that moves that use Hero's Magic Meter are just better than the moves that don't. Great back air from Dark Pit there. Another back air. Dark Pit actually gets caught out by Hero's up special recovery. Not how I expected that to go. Alright, things are looking pretty bad for Dark Pit all of a sudden. Both characters run to the other side of the stage. I guess you gotta keep it balanced, you know, have symmetry in your whole life. Dark Pit gets a down air. He doesn't get the spike, but he does get a hitbox that still kills Hero. Hero almost going for Hocus Pocus. I don't think it's something that the AI actually normally goes for. It might be programmed to shy away from it. I believe that in Kamikaze, the AI normally doesn't like to use, which, to be fair, if you're training an amiibo and it keeps using Kamikaze, you're going to be a lot more mad. I mean, especially because Hocus Pocus even has the potential of draining all of your mana, or poisoning you, or putting you to sleep. Dark Pit catches Hero with the up smash, able to get a combo. He releases the arrow at the wrong time though, not able to hit Hero with it. Already not the method I would recommend for catching somebody's landing, just because there are things they can do against it. Hero has the presence of mind to heal while Pit's away. Playing at the ledge, Hero's lost his ledge invincibility. Dark Pit snipes him, well, not snipes him, he intercepts him before he gets there. He even gets 2 down airs off. So you do have to watch out for Dark Pit's side B. Something to note also is that it has a deflector hitbox on there. It's not a reflector in that it doesn't send the projectile in the way it came, it usually launches it away at an angle. First of all, meaning it's not hitting Dark Pit. And I don't believe it changes the owner of the projectile, which is normally fine because the chances of it getting deflected in an angle that can actually hit the opponent are actually pretty low. I suppose with certain slow projectiles you could specifically try to get it to happen, but Dark Pit already has a reflector, so if he wants to go for that, he has a better option to do it anyway. That spike is going to kill Dark Pit. He didn't even bounce off the stage, did not have a chance to tech. Alright, here we have Min Min against Pikachu. Looks like we're going to be on Halberd. Fun stage, but there's always a slight chance that you get caught out on one of the side platforms when the platform leaves and you die. Happened a lot more in the older games because they were a little bit slower than Smash Ultimate. I mean, if nothing else, some characters had jump squats up to twice as long, I believe, back then. Which you'd think having a 6-frame jump squat wouldn't really affect a whole bunch, but it turns out in a game that has to move as fast as Smash Brothers, it does affect a lot. I guess on that same topic, a lot of people in the fighting game community, many people seem to endlessly praise rollback netcode, and I'm not saying it's intrinsically a bad thing. However, it really can't work for a game like Smash Brothers. See, the problem is that in this game, a lot of things happen incredibly quickly within fractions of a second. And it really wouldn't be a good online experience if you land a smash attack on your opponent only to find out that the game rewound itself and that the other person actually hit you. Not only would that be a nightmare to synchronize, but it doesn't sound like it would be a good experience. I mean, you have moves like Jigglypuff's Rest that come out on their first frame and they give you like a full second of invincibility. And if you could at any point rewind and have that connect, that would suck. I'm just gonna say it. It's especially weird too because everyone seems to want rollback netcode because everyone only cares about how the game feels for them. They don't care about how the game reacts to their opponent. It comes up in other types of games too, like any multiplayer game where you have a gun. Everyone always says that pretty much the person who's shooting the gun, like the damage should be calculated by if they hit the person on their screen. Which I understand makes sense because you want the players to feel like their decisions matter, and of course bullets are practically instant in real life, so it wouldn't make sense if they miss. But also, depending on the game, you find many replays of someone who ducks behind a wall and then they die, and they just have to assume, oh, maybe I was accidentally poking around the corner. When in reality, the person was not poking around the corner, but on the other player's slower internet connection or lagged out version of the game, they hadn't moved yet. It's weird too because for some types of games it really does work out, like Mario Kart and F-Zero 99. Since everyone is trying to go fast and go on a circle, the game has a pretty good assumption of where anybody's going to be at any given time, even if it misses, 12 packets in a row, or however many it ends up not being able to see, simply because moving fast and going forward is what every person is going to be doing. You can easily extrapolate that is an easy physics equation. Meanwhile, a character who runs up and throws out a very laggy move, only to turn out that they actually didn't, especially since some inputs in Smash Brothers are so fast and hard to execute. Which is weird to say because in other traditional fighting games, the opposite is true in that you don't have very high octane movement. It's that in order to actually get your moves to come out, you need to be so precise. Which I guess goes back to the rollback in that in those games you kind of have to have rollback because if you have a simple delay of 2 frames, then you don't get to use the right move. And part of that is because they all seem to rely on command inputs. Meanwhile, Smash Bros. Actually has it easier in that if you throw out side special 2 frames slower, you're still getting a side special. If you're really sloppy with your inputs, then yeah, sometimes online the lag can change you into doing a move you didn't intend to do. And of all characters, this actually does really affect Pikachu, who, due to the nature of his recovery, you pick 2 angles and you go along those distances. And if you get a lag spike in any part of your recovery, you instead end up going a completely different direction than you were intending, and when you're recovering, that can actually end up in your death. Anyways, that's a short discussion about online netcode, why people online will never be happy for some reason. Pikachu starting to get chain a couple uppers against Min Min, only gets 3. Pikachu usually gets maybe 5 or 6 moves in a good combo, but the amiibo never seem to be quite as capable of doing that. Min Min charges an up smash, I would say out of nowhere, but it actually hit Pikachu. I would not have predicted Pikachu to have been there, but I guess she did, and when you have the noodle, well actually, Min Min's up smash doesn't even use her noodle arms, like the most distinctive part of her character. It actually does work out well for Smash Brothers because most of the characters in ARMS only have punching moves. And when it comes to a game like Smash Brothers, you really don't want to just have a whole bunch of punch them diagonally, punch them from left to right. I mean, it works out for Little Mac. And I guess all the sword characters do use their sword in most of their moves, but the way that they do it, you can have jabs, you can have sweeping arcs, you can have a flurry of sword swings, you can have... yeah, there's different ways to do it. And if every single one of Min Min's moves was incredibly long like her arms, that would be infuriating. Already you can see other characters with long weapons like Sephiroth and the Belmonts. They actually do have long-reaching... oh, Min Min gets the reflect with her up smash. It actually can reflect projectiles. Oh, and the up smash from Pikachu is actually going to take the game. Alright, and for our next match, we're going to have Toon Link against Corrin. Looks like we're going to be on Umbra Clock Tower. So, long flat stage, it should favor Toon Link just a little bit. And let's see, down airs into Corrin's smash attacks. That one was a down smash, so it didn't quite reach him, but if it was a forward smash, it definitely would have. Corrin has very long-reaching smash attacks. When she was introduced, they were some of the longest. It actually feels funny in retrospect because of all the characters added to Smash Ultimate and how long their non-projectile attacks are. Some of them are so long they actually start to blend the line between what really is a projectile attack. Like, yes, I understand that Min Min, who actually had last match, she effectively throws her arms out and then pulls them back. How is that different from a boomerang? I guess they're technically attached to her, and Corrin did not grab the ledge there. They had some sort of tray in the middle of Toon Link's combo. Toon Link got the worst end of it because, of course, he was at a higher percent. Corrin almost down aired off the stage. That was a little bit too close to the ledge for my liking. Something you may notice about this stage is that the clock tower is always in free fall, never actually hits the ground, which is, from what I understand, actually how it also goes in the Bayonetta game it's from, Bayonetta 1. It does look like for Smash Ultimate they actually did put in a teleportation effect to explain how it's getting back up, but in the normal game it just falls for the entire duration of the fight. Even though in both Ultimate and in Bayonetta, based off the amount of time the clock tower is falling, it should have crashed into the earth. Well, it should crash into the earth at some point. And depending on how long your match is going, it often should have crashed into the earth 5 or 10 minutes ago. I don't know how long it takes any particular object to go from atmospheric re-entry into crashing into earth, especially because everything has different air resistances, and the characters seem to be able to keep up with the stage even though that alone should stop them. Corrin actually managed to escape that up special and use her own on Toon, like almost killing him. Up smash, not enough to kill. You know, for now. It's a smash attack. Hit enough of them and they'll kill. Smash Ultimate does have move scaling, where if you use the same move too many times in a row, they do get weaker. It doesn't have as much as some other previous Smash games. If anything, I'd say it's something that's been adjusted along with the speed of the game, in that in Smash Ultimate, since everyone and everything is just a little bit faster, it makes a little bit more sense that, well, you don't need as much of that. If a character starts spamming one move too many times in particular, you have a lot more options to get over there and punish them for it. Meanwhile, in older games, everything took longer and was slower, so they needed a lot more move scaling to encourage people to actually use different moves. Also, one other thing that helps is that in Smash Ultimate, they basically, from the transition from Smash 4 to Smash Ultimate, they basically gave each move the works, and they looked at each move and said, alright, nobody's using this move, why is that? And then they fixed things to make it a move you might actually want to use more often. In Smash 4, you'd often get a character who would only use one or maybe three moves. I know that Palutena was kind of well known for only using forward air. Like, maybe occasionally some other moves, you know, hard punch with a smash attack. But since her forward air was basically her just flat out fastest move, easiest to hit, Corrin goes for the charge on a smash attack, unable to get into the kill. Toon blowing himself up onto the stage, gets a tech and an up special. A weird maneuver, but it clearly worked. Back to the topic at hand, though, in Smash Ultimate they made a lot of the moves more viable. Whether that's speeding them up just a little bit, making them hit a little bit harder. Sometimes for Toon, why would you... Okay. Toon down aired right into Corrin's up smash. I'm a little surprised Corrin was able to time it that well, but that's something that the amiibo can do. And for our next match, we have Peach against Bayonetta. Alright, looks like we're going to be on Castle Siege. Already Bayonetta goes for a very deeply charged smash attack, but Bayonetta's up smash comes out in front of her instead of directly above, so Peach was very easily able to just kick her in the head for that. Bayonetta air dodging back to the ledge. That was actually really important in Smash 4 when Bayonetta was incredibly broken. Bayonetta actually has an effect that is still an ultimate, by the way, in that the more special effects she uses while airborne, she gets more landing lag when she actually hits the ground. And one of the ways to avoid that is to actually grab the ledge, because you do not have any landing lag. And the game doesn't further punish her by making her get-ups incredibly slow. Back in the day, it was much easier to do that, partially because of how good Bayonetta was at everything. Nowadays, it's a little bit harder, weirdly enough, even though Smash Ultimate usually gives characters a lot more control. I guess part of it is that Bayonetta has a harder time ending combos, and sometimes that means ending them in suboptimal ways. Granted, in Smash 4, Bayonetta had a very consistent 0 to death. And I say 0 to death, it was more like a combo tree of options of 0 to death. You started hitting the opponent, and they usually ended up dying for it. There are, of course, some other ways to get around that we haven't mentioned. One of the weirdest is actually that down air is usually pretty good. You still land and have more landing lag, but because you are landing with a hitbox, and if you actually hit the opponent, you're basically not getting punished. Very deeply charged smash attack. I wasn't able to kill Peach then, however one more of those probably would. Peach is a pretty light character, and Bayonetta's enormous fists turns out hit really hard. Peach almost saving Bayonetta there. Bayonetta would probably have to have air dodged back to the ledge. Up smash scoops up Peach, doesn't get the kill. It's weird. Bayonetta is a very and by Bayonetta, I should have said Peach is a very floaty character, and she even has a float, which is a good asset for any character to have. So she should definitely be very good in the air. However, Bayonetta has a lot of very good aerial combos. So I guess I'd say that Peach is probably better at getting that first hit, but if Bayonetta hits you, it's going to do a lot more. Forward Smash is going to kill Peach. That is something that, for the Bayonetta amiibo specifically, I had to teach them how to do, is that Bayonetta, the amiibo, has a hard time killing. In Smash Ultimate, Bayonetta actually can still have a little bit of a hard time. If anyone's struggling, I would recommend back air, or of course, the smash attacks. They cover a lot of range. Obviously, it's a little bit of a commitment, and they have enough end lag and stuff to make sure that, you know, they don't get spammed online. But you can see right there, it's an enormous pillar you summon in front of you. And it does actually hit about as hard as you'd expect, so it can pick up some kills. You can also go for the Witch Time. It's not as amazing as Smash 4 in that it does slow down the opponent, but since Bayonetta doesn't have guaranteed 0 to death combos anymore, it doesn't always result in a kill. Also, if you use a smash attack on the opponent, the Witch Time actually gives them a little bit of knockback reduction, which is a little strange. Especially because the way Bayonetta smash attacks work, they're all huge, so they're pretty laggy. It seems like in order for Bayonetta, the intention for Bayonetta to be able to get a kill is that you land a Witch Time on the opponent and then hit them with your smash attack, because you might not be able to otherwise. Peach needs to stop getting hit by these enormous uppercuts from the Nether Realms. So having the knockback reduction on Witch Time, it's possible that being able to combo effectively into a smash attack at, 70 or 80% was too broken, so they had to put the knockback reduction there. But its existence does seem counterintuitive to what seems to be the intentional design of dodge somebody and while they're slowed down, hit them with a smash attack. Bayonetta's able to survive that. And she did have to air dodge back on the stage, but she did get back and she is still alive. Uses the command input for the side special. Peach kind of just saved her there. Bayonetta could have made it back, but if Peach had thrown out a different move, it probably would have killed. Peach throwing out a whole bunch of rainbows, trying to kill Bayonetta with them. Lore-wise, that would actually be pretty effective on her. Although lore-wise, Peach shouldn't be throwing out rainbows or hearts now that I think about it. Peach was definitely a character who, when they put her in the game, they gave her a couple of magical abilities just to make things get smoothed over. I guess without them, she would have had even more combos. And in retrospect, now that the Princess Peach Showtime game exists, her up smash, where she pulls out the heart and there's a ribbon that goes around her, makes even more sense. That's definitely something they're going to be changing whenever the next Smash game comes out. They'll be adding a little, whatever the tiny little yellow creature you meet at the beginning of the game is. Seems to be a lot of those in spin-off games, I've noticed. This character doesn't normally have an entire gameplay scenario based around them. What do? Let's have them meet a little cute character who gives them a thing that will base the game around. Up smash on the tech, not going to kill Peach. Not getting the second one either, but Peach still has a whole life to chew through. Got about 50% on Bayonetta. About 50% after that auto heal. Bayonetta catches the turnip. That can be kind of hard to do because obviously the turnips are normally getting thrown at you and Peach isn't giving them out for free. Up smash up close, not killing Peach again. Peach actually caught that. I'm a little impressed. Bayonetta was throwing out a hitbox that's normally a little hard to do. Bayonetta only goes for 2 hits of the forward air. Not sure why you would do that. Back throw, not gonna kill. Peach goes low. Has to recover on the stage though. Throws out another rainbow. Both characters jumping around each other. Forward air. is going to kill Bayonetta. And for this match, we have Baytwotta against Banjo and Kazooie. For anyone who's confused, there's Bayonetta, and then we're on the same stage even. Alright, this is going to confuse people. So there's Bayonetta, and then the second player alt is Baytwotta. It's, because Bayonetta already has the word 1 in her name. Footstool? That's not going to kill Banjo yet. And I believe in a previous video I actually stated that they would be going against each other. Turns out I was wrong, and the way the bracket stacked up was that they weren't going to be in the same match. Although if Baytwotta doesn't win this match, then she will be against Bayonetta for sure next time. Bayonetta not going for the flurry hits. You probably... Oh, she couldn't have gone for him because that was a forward tilt. My bad. Bayonetta has a couple of moves with extra additions if you press the A button an extra time. Something we've seen a little bit more as the Smash Brothers games have gone by. Which is a little weird because now that I think about it, Link's Forward Smash has done that in pretty much every Smash Brothers game. At least all that I can think of. Bayonetta, oh, she had her up special and her side special. She was able to make that back. Even though she got gimped by an egg at the wrong moment. Getting Banjo off stage. He recovers successfully. He dances around on a ledge, though, and that gets him kicked in the head. Tries to go for an egg again. First time we've seen Bat Within. Well, first of all, it's probably not the first time we've seen Bat Within. I don't think we actually saw it at all the previous match, though. It does require you to be hit at the beginning or the end of your air dodge. It actually used to be even better. Now it's within a reasonable range. And then they gave Mithra foresight, not learning from their lesson. Bayonetta takes Banjo high, not able to kill at the end of it. Banjo pulls out a grenade. He actually catches it, but holds it too long, putting himself in even more grief. Throws a grenade. He's not able to get it to work. Banjo having a hard time keeping up with Bayonetta here. A lot of his moves seem to just be too slow or hitting her where she was and not where she's going to be. Down airs past the ledge. That's going to take his second stock. Things are now looking not great for Banjo. So predicting the movement of your opponents. That's something that obviously some characters are rewarded much more than others. But it can really help. Well, first of all, it's something to know if you're new to the game. It really does help your gameplay to start trying to predict where the opponent's going to be. That being said, Smash Ultimate is fast enough in that you normally have options to try to hit the opponent where they are. You don't have to predict where they're going to be. Most characters aren't exactly teleporting around, even though some characters do have teleports, and then it's incredibly useful. But due to the speed of the characters, you can, hit them in their current position, but you can also try to hit them where they will be. It's especially good in tech chases and any character who likes to fly around the screen with no real purpose, just kind of doing a lot of movement. It's supposed to be the threat of... So there's a trick in Smash Bros. Games called Dash Dancing. It's where you run back and forth really quickly. You can do it in Ultimate, but it's not really great. It's an option you have, but anybody with a fast projectile is first of all going to hit you out of it. And even then, normally the actual physical execution for getting a dash dance that doesn't put you massively at a disadvantage is enough that you have to concentrate. And that forward smash is actually going to kill Banjo. A little earlier than I was expecting, but he did lose the second stock, so I wasn't exactly betting on him to win halfway through. And over here we have Sephiroth against Young Link. Ooh, looks like we're going to be on Yoshi's Island. So these characters They definitely... Okay, so the sword length dichotomy is probably the longest I think you'll see in all Smash Ultimate. I suppose with Young Link and Toon Link there is a debate as to which sword is longer. I'm personally inclined to think that Toon Link's sword is longer. I don't necessarily have the tools to check. I guess I could put the amiibo side by side, but the amiibo aren't always scaled 1-to-1 to their characters in Smash Brothers. Sephiroth, I'm pretty sure... Okay, I was going to say he clearly has the longest sword. It's possible that when the Monado was fully extended, it matches his length. I don't know, again, it's really hard to tell. But Shulk does have some pretty wide-reaching moves. Either way, these are the characters who I think have the shortest and longest swords. It will definitely come up in the match. When you're Young Link, you definitely have a harder time when opponents are in your face. Even though his sword actually hits surprisingly hard for... Well, first of all, he's a kid holding what is effectively a machete. Oh, one other sword that might be even shorter is that Joker has a knife. I don't know where you draw the line between knife and sword, but they are effectively names for blades of different lengths. Maybe if Sheik had a shiv, that would be even shorter. Well, I guess the needles are close. You don't cut with them, but you stab with them. Perhaps Kirby, when he takes Young Link... Oh no, he only uses the bow. He doesn't have a sword. Sephiroth able to make that, and actually his recovery move is able to kill Young Link from across the screen. Up smash, reaching high enough to actually hit Young Link's jump. A lot of amiibo seem to struggle against Sephiroth, at least in this tournament series. He has a lot of long-reaching moves, and some amiibo just don't know how to deal with it. Weirdly enough, Young Link seems to be doing pretty fine. It's actually a rather even match, and Young Link hasn't used a lot of his projectiles, which would be pretty effective on Sephiroth, because his sword is long, but as a result it's a little bit slow to come out. You can see there, he actually started the up smash, and Young Link had enough time to roll to the other side of him. Young Link gets the footstool, Sephiroth makes it back. I guess he had the wing, so he would have had the extra jump. Of course, there near the end of the stage, not quite enough to kill Sephiroth. Sephiroth is a lot like a heavy character, but he isn't as heavy as most other heavies. So he has the slower moves, the more committal gameplay, slower run speed, stuff like that. But he's a heavy, but he isn't particularly heavy. Which I guess is Smash Ultimate is... It's probably going to get bigger over time. I mean, already they brought every character back and everyone and their dog loved it. Few things hurt as much as getting the new Smash game and then finding out that your character was cut from it. As for the future of this series, I don't entirely know. That I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't even decided yet. At the way things are, they could just keep developing and adding things to Smash Ultimate. Whenever they make the next console, they could, you know, add another 5 or 6 characters, another stage for each of them, maybe with, you know, an extra 3 or 4 for other Nintendo titles of the past. People would still love it. It's a great game, and of course, okay, Young Link did not jump up into that. Of course, there's always room for, you know, large innovations. And if anything, for Smash Ultimate specifically, there are 1 or 2 extra bonus modes that probably should have made their way into the game. If the game just had more time and more of a budget, they definitely would have been in there, I'm sure. Or, you know, they could have made up a new mode as well. That would have been fine as well. Young Link, I guess he didn't have his jump because he used his up special a little early. He got killed as a result. Putting us pretty neck and neck for this last stock. So Sephiroth, in true DLC character fashion, he does have a comeback mechanic. It's not as extreme as a lot of other characters, at least that have them. So he gets his wing from, you know, his one-winged angel form. That's a phrase that you don't even have to have played Final Fantasy to have at least heard. In Smash Brothers terms, it gives him an extra double jump, which is great. Back air at that side of the stage, alright, that's going to take the game. And for the last match of this video, we have Shulk against Donkey Kong. Alright, looks like we're going to be on Norfair, stage where sometimes the enemy will have a hard time recovering, probably due to indecision. Shulk doing a great job of just staying beneath that platform and heckling Donkey Kong. Goes out, that forward smash might have gotten close to killing. So it didn't have the percentage you'd expect a forward smash to normally kill, but when they're up on the edge of that platform, they're actually near the top end of the stage. Donkey Kong's got a footstool on Shulk. So he may have taken a whole bunch of damage, but in fact, I think his damage taken received ratio has got to be something like, took about 60% of that stock, and he maybe hit Shulk once and then footstooled him to death. So I guess that means he's very efficient, or possibly just very lucky. Smash art Shulk is something to be warned about. Yep, forward air from that. It may have killed without Smash Monado, but with it, it definitely will kill. Donkey Kong taking his turn juggling Shulk. And Shulk goes for a spike, but Donkey Kong was at such a low percentage, and Shulk is not able to make that back. He probably could have if he went into jump Monado. I know the amiibo is actually really good at switching Monado while recovering. This is something that has killed many people who have not mastered it. Shulk going into Buster Monado, actually a pretty good timing to do so, and there he actually went into jump and then recovered. So it can be done. I guess the amiibo just didn't think to do it last stock. Donkey Kong goes low. Is Shulk? I don't think he was grabbing the ledge. Donkey Kong's recovery, I believe, saved him. Up smash from the lowest platform isn't going to kill. Donkey Kong's out wide, but that's the exact distance his recovery covers. Shulk had a very high percentage. Against a character like Donkey Kong, you're usually not going to live long. Up air, barely not killing. Shulk just barely grabbed the ledge on that one. Up smash from the lowest platform, still not killing. Forward arrow getting the Sage Spike. It didn't kill, but it almost did, so it goes to show just how strong that move is. Shulk makes it back with Jump Monado, but that does mean he's not going to have it next time. There's not going to be a next time because the Donkey Kong up air is just going to kill him. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to watch the other videos and enjoy them as well. Until then, bye.